Hello, friends. I hope your Saturday is going well. I wanted to come on, I've been trying to come on all day today and since Wednesday. But I feel like maybe it made sense to wait until today, given current events. It's difficult to wake up to news like we had this morning that bombs are falling and we might be going to war, and it's just, there's a lot of upset and pain about that, no matter what your position is on that. But it actually pertains, it just lines right up with what I have been wanting to talk about recently. I just came home last Monday from my recent visit to Tuscany to work with Maria to set up our schedule for the upcoming women's retreat on the 2nd of May. We still have space. If you're interested, get in touch. I'll put the link to my calendar in comments later. But we were talking with various artisans about visiting them and what they might have to offer, and just working on, calendar logistics, making sure that there's enough time in between and all that businessy stuff, details. And whenever I visit, I go to the high school in Colle Valdelsa with my darling friend, Elva, who is an English teacher. And I come in to several English classes as a native English speaker to work with these teenagers, which I love. And just in case you don't know about me yet, I'm not really a small talk person. And Elva and the other native English speaker, Gavin, and I were talking before class, and they asked me a few questions about current events in the States. And we didn't have a lot of time, and I said, I have a stance. I have a posture for dealing with the world and life, all of life. Part of why we have these retreats is to create a container where we can practice discovering joy. So what is my stance? What is this posture? It comes down to two short statements. And before this class, I shared these two statements. And during, Gavin, the native English speaker from the UK, said to the teenagers, let's talk about these mantras. And I was, number one, super astonished that we would just dive into something that was basically philosophical in a high school English class with fifth year kids. So they are 18 and 19 years old, and they speak quite well. So here were the statements that he wanted me to repeat with the kids and then take apart and talk about the meaning. Joy is a choice, and hope is a practice. I mean that from the very bottom of myself. It is below my moods, even my deepest emotion. It is foundational, way down. When I say discovering joy for this retreat, it is something that is beyond just having a good time. Joy is deeper than happiness. Joy is a well of belief in the beauty and the purpose of existence, which, if you just zoom up and look about, it's pretty hard to miss. And recently an astronaut came home from doing some orbits, and he, as all of them do, said that he looked down at our beautiful, fragile planet with its paper-thin atmosphere protecting us all. And there were no boundaries. There were no nations. This beautiful, fragile spaceship. And I don't know how long ago I came to this statement that joy is a choice, but I have worked with it and lived it in the worst moments of my life, in the most gorgeous moments, in my recall and reframing of events. And with these kids, we unpacked, what is joy? What does it mean to have a choice? What is hope? Which I will say, it's not something airy-fairy and sweet, like fluffy cherubs, ping. Hope is a gritty bitch. I think of her as a she. She has tears in her pants, sticks in her hair, dirt smudged on her face, probably a broken tooth. And she keeps throwing herself on the ground to slide into whatever just has to get done. That hope is a practice, and it's never over. It's never over. There are always things to hold oneself ready for. So when I think about life, when I think about being a coach, when I work with my executive coaching clients, when I think about holding a retreat, all of them are undergirded by this foundational idea that joy is a choice. And life just keeps coming at us with slings and arrows, both personal and public. The world, our family and friends, work, war, politics, on and on. And I don't know about you, but I need a way to manage that, because I was joking with my coach the other day about how she helps me feel less alone by saying something as simple when I'm describing something painful. She says something as simple as, ask me how I know. And it just encapsulates this whole thing that I know, and she knows that I know, that she has been down the well and gotten up out of the well and is under no illusion that the well stays there and we continue to fall in and get back out. There's never a getting up out of the well and going, that's it, all's good, never gonna happen again. No, that's not how it works. So at some point in my life, I started developing this idea that joy is a choice, it's a stance, it's a posture. And hope for a future that I want to be part of is a practice that I am active in. Whatever you want to be different in your life, micro, macro, you name it, your participation is required. And the way that you consider what you want, for me it's joy. I want a deep well of this feeling, this existence that is for the good. And I choose it over and over again. And because I live it, I teach it. And I teach it in the simplest ways, just by taking people on walks in the Chianti Hills, leading yoga practice, taking people to visit a silversmith or look at a project in a community that binds people together, creating small pieces of art that turn into a beautiful mosaic. on and on. Beautiful food, cooking for yourself, choosing for yourself. So I just wanted to say something about that today. So however you're feeling, please get in touch about the women's retreat. If you're interested, or if you know somebody interested, please share this. And I also work with developing business people as an executive coach, where we work on foundational practices that build business, and also the mindset and personality understandings that help you get along in your day-to-day as you develop into the leader that you see for your, the leadership that you see for yourself. It's the work of my life. I love it. And on a day like today, when it feels pretty jarring and scary, once again, I choose. Joy is a choice. Have a great day. I'll be in touch again.